It's Tuesday, and that means we're talking about parenting. So in today's Parenting Appeal, we're going to share the most important presents you can give your kids. And joining me is Jeff Londraville, the author of The Filter. Jeff, thanks so much for stopping in.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Seth.
So you're contending that the most important presents to give your kids are intellectual gifts.
Yes, absolutely. And those are the ones that keep on giving throughout the years. Stuff you'll remember way into your 30s, 40s, and 50s as a child, but also as an adult.
We were joking about it earlier. It's one of those, it's like getting socks for Christmas. But at the end of the day, when you're 30, you're going to be very happy you got those life lessons of socks.
Exactly. The Xbox is nice. Everything's nice for gifts. I know you got to keep up with the Joneses kind of situation. But the stuff you really want your child to really make a difference in their own lives throughout the years. And how do you do that? Well, we went over a lot of that stuff.
Exactly. So today we have 5 intellectual tools for your toolbox. The first is empathy.
Yeah, empathy is huge because it shows your child and your teenager how to feel. And when you feel, you understand more how the world works so they can work with the world. And understanding how people feel is a huge part in trying to make a difference, not only in other people's lives, but in their own life. Because you can always say to your child, remember how that felt? And if you're saying this, that might feel that way. It really makes them finally understand, because it's very confusing to a child.
Jeff, this next one's interesting to me. It's understanding habits that are good and bad.
Yeah.
Now, is that habits for your own habits, habits of other people, or is it both?
Well, it's interesting. Where does habits come from, first of all? Habits come from thoughts and beliefs. I'm this way. I've always been that way. You hear people say this kind of stuff all the time. Oh, I've been that way for years. Where does that come from? What makes a habit? And good and bad. You know, there's good habits if you're always on time and that kind of stuff. Well, that's a good habit to be. You're always early. But then there's bad habits also that make your life more difficult, more frustrating. Be aware of that. Is this working for me? Is it a habit? How did it become a habit? Question it. Not only as a parent, but also as a child. Help them work through that. Connect with your child to say, is this working for you? Or is it just an excuse to say, well, I've done it for years. That's just the way I am.
And I think conversely it works too when talking about other people, because if you have empathy and you understand other people's habits, it really helps you connect with them.
Absolutely. And you know, the thing is when you connect to other people and understand how they want things and you want things, it's the less frustration you're actually having in your own life.
Exactly. Hey, your next tip is emotional intelligence. What's that?
Emotional intelligence is huge. I mean, the self-awareness of how you feel is huge. It saves lives. It saves your own life many, many different ways. But it can also save other people's life. So what's going on with you? Are you self-aware of your emotions? What's making me feel bad? What's making me feel sad? What's making me feel happy? Is it something someone said to me? Is it something I said to them? Being aware of all this emotional intelligence really guides you in having a successful and happy life.
Now, Jeff, I bet a lot of parents out there, they're wondering, you know, these are obvious things I need to teach my kids, but how can people out there really teach their kids? Because you can't sit down, it's not like a history lesson.
Absolutely. This is every day connecting with your child. Every single day. You know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we're in the middle of the season here, and it's about not just the stress that goes into the season, but just sitting down and connecting with them. Open the door to their lives, then get through the essential life skills that we're talking about and the tools for them to succeed. But really connecting is the huge important factor I want parents, everyone to understand. Connecting with a child is enormous.
I guess just being aware, you know, finding those teachable moments and executing them, not letting them slip through the cracks.
Exactly. And being aware of the teachable moments, that's a great point. But everything's a teachable moment if you think about it. You can point to everything. Even when you're watching TV, you don't watch too much TV, but when you're watching TV, pointing out things, you see the way that girl did that, the way that boy did that, you think that was a good way or a bad way. You can do that in any aspect of life.
And speaking of that, the next tip for people's toolbox is communication skills you can teach. Communication
skills is huge, and the fact of, like I mentioned before, it lessens the frustration. If you know how to talk to people, you know what they want and how they want it to be said, it relieves you from getting sad or mad or getting frustrated. The reason why people act out and become negative in a lot of different ways is because they're frustrated. They're not getting what they want. Maybe they didn't communicate it properly. So we really understand how to communicate with people, so not only helps them, but also helps yourself.
That's true. And your last tip kind of goes right off that. It's finding out the art of asking.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean?
I've just really realized this over the last, 10, 15 years of my life, is when you ask people things, people want to help. We're so scared of asking for help. We think it's something like weak in our society. And it's really a gift to know the way to ask. And And when you're young, you say please, say thank you, that kind of stuff when you're asking. That never changes. When you're a teenager and adult, ask the proper way, but also have the confidence and the self-esteem to ask. Don't worry about who may say no and who may not say no, because they might say yes.
That's a really good point, because at the end of the day, yeah, people are inclined to help for the most part.
Absolutely.
And you're kind of shortchanging yourself by not asking them.
Definitely. Asking, I find out, is really, really big in a lot of different ways. People want to help you. And if they do say no, which so many people are scared of, is your self-esteem and your confidence strong enough to handle the no's? Does it set you back farther? No, you're at the same spot. So if you ask a question that can make your life better, you're better. If you ask a question, someone says no, you're still in the same spot. So if you think of it that way and protect your self-esteem, protect your confidence, and say, well, that door didn't open, but the next one just may.
Jeff, these are some of the best gifts that you can give kids this year. So thanks for coming and sharing them with us today.